Everything gone wrong with the Australian HSC. But what is a HSC? Well, it's quite simple, whilst being incredibly complicated. Your HSC, or Higher School Certificate, is a qualification you gain after graduating Year 12 in secondary school. Depending on your region, it may have a different name, such as the Quassi, the Sassy, the Vissi, the Tissy, and of course, the Wassi. It is obtained by sitting your HSC exams, which are your final external assessments in Year 12. There could be a controlled examination in a room full of anxiety and stress, and sometimes an internal project such as art or metalwork.
I drew this!
Now your HSC exam results are calculated alongside any in-school assessments to create your ATAR.
Mum, I got my ATAR.
Oh, that's bloody good, mate.
Oh yeah, ba, I just got my ATAR.
Oh, essay, ba.
I have your results. You've been diagnosed with
A fully sick ATAR. Oh, that's pretty good, mate.
Now, your Australian Tertiary Admission Rank, or ATAR, is your percentile rank out of all Australians within your cohort. For instance, if I got an ATAR of 69, that shows that my mark was higher than 69% of all Australians within my cohort. Your ATAR can then be used to apply to universities, which courses typically have an ATAR requirement, or become a tradie. That way ATAR doesn't matter. Well, that all sounds simple, right? Not quite. There are other things that come into play, such as scaling, cohort adjustments, adjustment factors, but this isn't the video for that. So let's get into it. Everything that's gone wrong with the HSC. 1967 was the first ever HSC, and boy was it a doozy. Most schools struggle with the new curriculum, but that's not the only problem. Mathematical questions were far more advanced than what we see today. And worst of all, HSC results were publicly printed in the newspaper. Okay, where is it? Here's the results! Hey, I passed! Yeah, me too.
Guys, I can't see my name.
Oh. Well, I guess somebody's not getting an ATAR! As the years went by, teachers are still fighting over the HSC curriculum. Meanwhile, in 1971, teachers in Victoria had enough, as Melbourne saw an 11-week strike prior to the VCEs, which also prompted students to do the same. Later, in 1972, Queensland was all like,
Oh yeah, man. The QCEs, we're gonna go our own way.
meaning that end-of-year exams were actually moderated by individual schools rather than the government. And because of this, the rest of Australia had mad respect for Queensland. Yeah, so it actually turns out that the rest of Australia hated that idea, and Queensland got major backlash. Meanwhile, a lot of the states are struggling with the scaling process. You see, we can all agree that some subjects are harder than others. Therefore, school bodies came up with a super complex process to calculate more accurate marks. But as you can assume, it did not go well. The major problem that Australia faced with scaling is that students were doing better based on what subjects they chose instead of how well they performed in the subjects.
Hi Tony, how's physics going?
I wrote my name, I guess, but I really didn't do anything else.
Oh wow, you get a gold star. Oi miss!
What, brah?
I mean, what is it, Jasmine? I built a 1-to-1 replica of the Statue of Liberty. It's supposed to represent freedom across.
But anyways, because of the scaling disaster, there was a lot of controversies with universities, as a lot of them were picking and choosing whether to use raw marks or scaled marks, which was inconsistent and unfair for students. But luckily, in 1987, the University of Sydney formed a committee to help with the scaling process. In 1991, Victoria, who just introduced their VCEs, were facing backlash over scaling and the workload for students. But really, the 1990s was actually a good year. We got curriculum changes, more funding, teacher shortages. Oh wait. Yeah, this one school got so bad that they would literally hire anyone. Oh gosh, not again.
Hi, Mr. Janitor. Yes, could you please look after the class over there?
Oh, well, I actually took a bunch of pingers, so I don't
Great,
really feel like...
thank you.
You guys want to see a dead body? Well, that sounds terrible. South Australia, how are you doing? Well, in 1993, we officially released the SACEs. Wow, amazing! Yeah, not exactly. Turns out all the students are leaving. It's sadly true. By the end of the decade, the state's retention rate dropped from all the way from 93% to 67%. Hey Victoria, how's scaling going? Well, while they figure that out, let me tell you a story. Meet James King. James graduated the HSC in 2001 and was accepted into a science and law degree at the University of NSW. Instead of moving on with what he got, James wanted to know more about his marks. With Freedom of Information laws, James applied for the return of his raw marks, which he got. He scored a 64% in the Advanced English HSC exam, which was scaled up to be 79%, which turns into 82% when considering in-school assessments. James also established a website with some of his mates intended to hold resources for the HSC for other Australian students, and one of the resources he uploaded was his raw marks, which inspired other students to do the same. Now forget James, we're now talking about Hugh Parsonage, who in 2005 applied for his raw marks alongside 49 others. Denied.
You need to leave!
Now the Board of Studies has always been a bit secretive about their scaling process, believing it was too complicated to disclose to the public. Post the mass rejection, the New South Wales Ombudsman's Office got involved. If you don't know what an ombudsman is, imagine a legal big brother that beats up your bullies. Now, the Board of Studies had two choices. Option A, they could either apologise for their inconsistent rejections and release the raw marks. Option B, which is the same as Option A, but includes taking in the recommendations of the ombudsmans for a more transparent structure.
There is a third option.
There is?
Yes, it involves murder.
The Board of Studies chose neither and instead used 51,000 taxpayer dollars to challenge the claims made against them, which of course did not end well. The Board of Studies made many mature arguments such as
Scaling's too complicated!
and
Sharing marks will compromise our integrity!
the result was that the Board of Studies has agreed to be more transparent and honest about their marking systems within the future. Another HSC blunder occurred in 2005, where a school in Coffs Harbour handed out the HSC exam only to realise that it was the incorrect one. But by dealing with the situation quickly, a mass investigation wasn't launched. Now with the new age of technology, teenagers can actually register to have their HSC results sent by text. However, there was an incident from New South Wales in 2012 and Victoria in 2016, where many students who were registered received the ATAR results early. This may seem like a good thing, however a lot of the marks were miscalculated. By now, cheating is the new trend, with cases of plagiarism, sneaked in notes and mobiles were reported. One Sydney school was so badass that they stole a HSC trial exam from the teacher's cupboard. In 2017, a student from Blackfriars Priory School was feeling funny, and after the biology exam, he drafted an email telling students that they would have to resit the exam, which triggered the response you'd expect.
Wait!
Please, Emma, stop!
Don't you swear at me! I feel like I was losing my mind!
Yes! I am in love with Nate Jacobson! I don't know what to do. He's blood.
No! God!
He was obviously not a rookie, as this email was signed with the forged signature of the acting chief executive. The unnamed student released an apology statement, and the icing on the cake is the school can't do anything to punish him, as he graduated. In 2018, the Victoria exam had this stimulus, a fictional scathing review about a hipster-style cafe with an awful rating. The issue is that this cafe was called Karma Coffee, which sounds almost identical to Karma Cafe, a real-life cafe in Victoria. Due to the stimulus, high schoolers ended up attacking the real-life cafe with quotes from the English stimulus. The Karma Cafe owner released a statement about how this damaged the cafe's reputation. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first time, as in 2017, a poem from Ellen van Neerven was featured in the HSC exam, which for some reason triggered hundreds of threatening messages and harassment. As Ellen is an Indigenous woman, a lot of these messages were racist as well. But moving on, for the class of 2018, the HSC certificate was printed with the wrong date. Remember that cute little virus that went around half the world and got everyone infected? Well, as you might have guessed, it did affect the HSC. Now, there was two major parties that were affected. With the students, since we had no classes, we turned to online learning.
Like react in a non-spontaneous characteristic?
No, it would be spontaneous. If
Shut the fuck up, Mom! I'm in a class!
My name is Nick for short, from Bronx, New York. My pronouns are Nick, her.
Okay, gotcha, Nick. Oh!
I think you're ugly, I think you're fat, I think you're stupid.
But due to a lack of supervision and regulation, a lot of people were cheating. I would know. Also starting the great AI revolution. But technology is far from perfect, as in 2020 more than 3,000 South Australian students missed one of the SACE exams due to a technical glitch. Meanwhile, teachers are also facing COVID related problems, such as having COVID. And because many schools are short-staffed, the rest of the teachers go on strike. And not only that there are staff shortages for the schools, there's also staff shortages for the board, which causes major problems, such as exam errors. Or what about posting practice exams online, except you could hit select all to see the HSC questions? What about accidentally paying people an extra $35,000?
Oh son, I can't believe you paid for my hip replacement surgery.
Yeah, it was 35 grand. Good thing teaching pays well.
Ah, yes, about that.
Businessman stock image.
Blackface.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that money back. Well, it's already inside him.
Okay.
For the HSC class of 2021, there was an IT glitch that caused the marks to be released early. NASA investigated the issue and said it will never happen again. Later that year, the same thing happened again, where the marks of 2022 were released early, but this would be the last time it happened. Later in 2023, the same thing, nah, I'm just kidding. Over in South Australia, they completed their internal exams on an online computer. However, a massive error was made as students had access to Grammarly and editor tool during the exam. Later, in 2024, is when I had my HSC. And for the English exam, there was a major controversy. For the stimulus, they used an AI generated photo. And by now, half of Australia is realizing how bad the stapling is on the exams. And if you're thinking, oh, it can't be that bad, let me give you a visual. Welcome back to this week's episode of Craft It. I'm your host, that's all you need to know. And today, we are learning how to make your very own English exam.
Hooray!
So first things first, we need to staple the pages. If we don't staple the pages, it will fall apart. No. Now remember, always ask an adult to help you. Now some people want to staple along the side like here. We're not going to do that. We are going to try to get as middle to the page as possible. Just... I can't even open it anymore. And sometimes I like to make some adjustments as well. Oh my god! Now it's time for my favorite part, the pictures. I'll show you what I got. This is a photo of my dog's inflamed rectum. After googling black and white emotional image, I found this photo. And last but not least, an AI generated photo of Will Smith eating spaghetti. Now I forgot my glue stick, so I'm going to use store brand peanut butter. And there we have it, our very own English exam. And remember, your education depends on it. So we'll see you next time when we try to make a cocktail Molotov. Anyways, over in Queensland, there was a massive blunder, as 8 high schools taught the Year 12s the wrong topic for an ancient history exam, where they spent the whole year studying Augustus Caesar instead of Julius Caesar. And at last, but certainly not at least, the 2025 HSC music exam featured a jazz version of Thick of It.
From the screen to the ring, to the pen, to the king, where's my crown, that's my bling, always drama when I ring.
Worse than that, it was on the pages 6 and 7. But that's it, that's everything that's gone wrong with the HSC. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next.